Alright, welcome back to Urban X TV. We have the legend King Simon with us today.
What's up, my brother? What's up? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, before we start, do you have any shout outs, anything? I saw a couple of your previous interviews. You have shout outs for days.
I got shout outs.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure.
I'm a natural promoter. Yeah. Bang! So, just like to show my Phil Valentine. Baba Phil is coming in town. If you don't know, let's see if once you can get that. If you need it, you can probably do the, you can do the flash in and out, But Phil Valentine will be coming in town November the 5th. November the 5th, and he's speaking on the re-engineering of gender 2.0. And of course, it's called the hetero holocaust. So he's going to be talking about transgenderism. He's going to speak about, of course, psycho-spiritual warfare and the normalization of insanity. Like, if you ever watched the movie The Cure for Wellness, they serious about what they're doing. And they're really putting it in the movie. That we're going to be at a very prestigious college called St. Francis College. Hopefully the Black Dot and his family can come on out. Y'all are my guests if y'all coming. Just come on out and enjoy. And that's going to be on November 5th and November the 12th. Baba Dr. Africa. Laila Africa is coming into town. Elders all the way with his beautiful wife, and that's going to be at Nicholas Brooklyn in Brooklyn. And that's all. Everything is in Brooklyn except I had to move it, do what matter of fact, I used to do things in the Bronx back in the day, so over there at Parkside Plaza. But it is what it is. But this is Dr. Africa. He's going to be speaking on his new book called Nutritional Destruction of Black People. And of course, emotional eating. Is it good or bad for you? So we're going to be doing that. Also, I'm going to be at the Black Power Awards. Those who know what the Black Power Awards in Atlanta, I'm doing a workshop. I'm one of the workshop facilitators out there in the Black Power Awards from the 17th of November to November 19th. It's a 3-day workshop. Award ceremony, and they're going to have obstacle courses, martial arts, after party, all of that, and that's going to be at the Black Power Awards. And of course, my 22 years in promotion and production with Baba Ashra Kwesi on December the 10th. I will be celebrating 22 years in production and promotion, starting with SOBs professionally, but I've been doing it for many years. But it started professionally at SOBs right here in Manhattan. And also, Baba Kwesi will be celebrating 65 years birthday, first time in New York on December 10th. And each one of these events, I have a presentation for each one of them, a plaque from me to them, my production, because we have to at least give our roses to our elders.
While they're here.
While they're here, we got to show love to them, and that's what I'm about. And that's right. If anybody want to find out any information, please go to my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go to the events and vending menu, and then you can find out all the links. And also for Phil Valentine, we are streaming live for those all over the world. You want to see them any part of the world, all 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth. You can see them on usalivestreams.com/channels and pay for your live stream. I think it's $25, and you get to see Phil Valentine professionally with angles, 3 camera shots, all kinds of stuff we're doing November 5th, live and direct.
We will add the links.
Yes, add all the links. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
So, you just spoke about 22 years in the promotion business. I wanted to know, how did you transition into what you do with numerology and things like that? Like, what was that, or was it connected?
It actually, my brother, it was always connected, because I learned numerology from when I was 14, 15 years of age, but I learned it from the 5% perspective. So in the 5% nation, they always break down the numbers, with the 1, the 2, and the 3 and all that, and dealing with knowledge, wisdom, overstanding, and continuing.
Right.
So, but what had happened when I left the 5%, let's say I never left, because we're still 5%.
Right.
But as far as when I moved from the 5% to the Ansarullah community in Bushwick, you're probably too young for this, but I know your daddy know. The Ansarullah was in Bushwick Avenue under Imam Isa, whom people call Dr. York when they transition over to. And I learned Abjad, because we were studying Arabic, and Arabic numerology is called, the Muslim numerology was called Abjad, which is a form, they call it fortune telling, but really it was trying to guide people on who they are and what they are. And then when I left that community in 1988, I listened to WLIB, WBLS, came back to New York from Philly, listened to WBLS, WLIB, and I heard my teacher, Lloyd Strayhorn, on teaching on numerology, and I fell in love from there, and that's when I proceeded. And then everything correlates. Even my 22 years from when I got into the promotion, all my numbers work together. Even when I wasn't that much into it, it really started resonating. Even the 22 years that I'm going into this year, because 22 is a master number, and that master number is connected to the Aquarian age, and I'm Aquarius, so I'm just flowing with what I'm doing. You know.
So
yes,
to piggyback off that, like for people that don't know exactly what numerology is, do you have a Wikipedia definition that?
Well, yes.
For the people that just starting out.
Numerology just means study of numbers, and most of the people that are in school or colleges, one of their top scholars was Pythagoras. And Pythagoras is still one of their top scholars today.
Right.
And they study numbers through the initiations of Pythagoras and what he taught and all that kind of stuff. But Pythagoras got it from us when he studied for like 22 or 23 years, going through India, going through Africa, and learning the ancient sciences and being initiated, quote unquote, allegedly. This is but I know George G.M.J. spoke about this, that he was going through and out, and that book was called, you remember, Stolen Legacies. That was George J.M.J.'s book, so I do suggest
your library.
I got it. I read it.
So I do suggest people read that book and study all of the great ones that of course, Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, all of them, study all of that, because it showed you that the Europeans didn't really come up with anything.
Right.
Mathematics came out. Even the zero, they said it came from the Arabs, but it came from the original Arabs, because this man on my shirt said something very key, and this is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said something real key. He said, how is it that these Arabs are not technologically savvy now, but back in the day they were? Because they wasn't the true ones. It was our people, the Moors and all those people. Those were the ones that was building the edifice and all that for Europe and Spain and all that. And those that came, those was the original people that was doing all this scientific stuff, the alchemy and all that. It came from us. We are walking mathematics and alchemy. We are the original ones. So that's where I get it from. It's in our blood. So why am I running from it? And numerology, to the audience that don't know, is a study of number, but numerology is like a GPS. It helps, when you ride an Uber, they triangulate the area to see what's the fastest route or what's the slowest route, which one is clogged and which one is not, and they'll tell you, let's go down this route. Even if it seems longer, they tell you, let's go down this route. That's what numerology is. When I do a consultation for people, I try to show you the fast route and the long routes. And if you choose it, that's your willpower. Whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. But I always tell people, numbers don't lie, people lie to themselves. Matter of fact, that's going to be the next book. Stop playing.
So, speaking on your books,
yes.
You have a new book that you're about to revise, right?
I'm about to revise.
You have other books on numerology.
Yes, I do. That one and this one too. That's right. These two books here.
So,
yes.
What are one of the main things you stress about when you're talking to people about their personal numerology?
Okay. What I stress on when I do a consultation session, I stress on that numbers have their high frequency and their low frequency.
Okay.
Just like in megahertz and all that, they have low frequency and high frequency. The brain operates on frequency also. And I stress that we are not psychics, but we use the numbers and their meanings to connect with what is best for you and what you might be doing wrong. So I'm here, if you're on, let's say you're on the path of what you're doing. Right. You're born September 15th, right? That means 1 and 5 is a 6. 6 represents education, love, family. And this is why it's a family show. And family is supporting you, and you need that. Right. But the 1 and the 5 has its own individual powers. 5 represents leadership, trailblazer, one who don't procrastinate but moves on. The negative is procrastination. The negative is falling back and second guessing yourself. But the 5 represents the freedom to move, live, and do what you want to do. Nobody can't get in your mind. You have to really, and you're very multi-talented. There's a lot of talent that comes through. But the balance, the 6 is the balance. In order for your talent and your leadership to come through strongly, 1 plus 5 equals 6. 6 represents Ma'at, truth, justice, reciprocity, balance, harmony. You need that balance and harmony for the 1 and the 5 to shine. That's how. And then you're a Virgo, and I can touch into the Virgo because Virgo is a humanitarian sign, and you love to teach and educate and heal the people in some form or fashion. And that's why it's important. That's why my teacher, Lloyd Strayhorn, who happened to have written this book, Lloyd's Numbers and You Workbook, it's a good guy to have here, and hopefully I'll get y'all a connection, have one of the legends in this, come up here.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, y'all would love that because Lloyd knows. I mean, Lloyd goes in. He's been doing it for like 30, 40 years. So Lloyd been on Oprah. Wow. He's one of, so in this day and time, compared to people like Shiro and Florence Campbell, ancient numerologists from back in the 30s, Lloyd is probably one of the best numerologists out there who's been on all the major stations. Oprah effect has Lloyd. So that's why it's important that we understand numbers for our life. Each one of us are born on a particular time. Each one is born on a particular day. Each one will die at a particular time and a particular day. So we try to use numbers to help guide people the best way we can. And like I said, it's a GPS for guidance, not hindrance. Some people can use it for negative. Some people can use it for positive. Like this government might use it for positive and negative, or use it for positive for themselves. But it's very important that our people realize that it comes from us. And anything that comes from us, we can use it to the best of our abilities to be the very best in life.
So speaking on the government, right? So
very good.
We're in very trying times. A lot of people losing their minds off of what's going on, false flag things in Vegas. So how do you use numerology to, I guess, shut out the noise for it to make sense to you?
Well, very good question. Well, what's so interesting? This USA was born on July 4th, 1776. Now, I can show you better than I can tell you. Now, in numerology, the July represents the 7, of course, the 4th day, 1776. 17, 1, 8, that's a 7, that's a 1. Now, first thing I want to emphasize is the 7 and the 4. In numerology, the 7 and 4 are mental numbers. These are 7 is a number of mood swings, mental stress, and 4 is also a number of, in the negative, of mental stress, mental clarity if they want to stay clear. But on the negative, 4s can fall under the mood swings also. So these two numbers, anytime I see these two numbers pop up, I know this place can drive you crazy. America can drive you crazy. Just because it's a mind number. And anytime I find somebody born under these two numbers or born on this day, I tell them they always got to protect their mind. Be careful of the news. Because they use the news, which 4 is a communication number also. They use communication, and what's so funny about it, 4 rules television, radio, and undoubtedly, America is the master of television and radio propaganda. Undoubtedly. Sure. And then when you add the 2, 4 and 7, that's 11. And in numerology, 11 in the negative represents deception. And they use the negative of the 11 on the deception side, but also on the positive, it means spirituality, insightful, intuitiveness. So they use spiritual deception. But when people born on the 11th use this for their benefit, like Minister Farrakhan, he's born May 11th. He uses it for spiritual enlightenment, and spiritual dynamics, and spiritual settings. And that's what helps him to move the nation the way it is. It was very intuitive for him to take over the nation after the 3 years of calm, because they was out to kill him if he tried to do it. And he knew that. So his intuition told him to move after the nation fell at one point, after Warathuddin Muhammad took it, and then Minister Farrakhan came and took it. But that's a master number 11, he moved on. Other people that are born under number 11, Cardi B, born October the 11th. I'll bring it home, baby. I'll bring it home. Because October now, and what tells me something about her, why she is the person that she is. Not only, let's say October 11, 10 and 11. Her alignment number, we call when we add these two numbers, a month and a day, we call it the alignment number. So that's 1, that's 2, that equals 3. 3 in numerology represents a person that loves to do music, people that love to communicate, and love to expand in business, acting, movies, all that kind of stuff. As you can see, she's a writer, she's into the music, she's doing all of that. On the negative of the 3, scandal. You can get into scandals of the 3. And one of the best scandalers that gets into a lot of scandals that's born under the number 3 is Star from Star in the Morning. He's born May the 3rd. Oh, he loves scandal. He's been in scandal, in and out scandal for years. He's my brother, I love him, but his 3 tells me all of that. Even with the whole Bam situation. He was going into a certain year of scandal that I read into his numbers when I read it. And the person that revealed him is somebody who was born under 3, which was a scandal. Another guy who brought out the scandal. Number 3, which was Star and Buck Wild. And I said this on Brother Rich's show before, which is very interesting. So back to Cardi B. This master number 11 equals a 2 on the lower frequency, which deals with relationship. So it tells me that something, when you have the 3 is a male number, and 2 is a female number, it says something in her family wasn't strong, like the male energy of the family wasn't strong. Now, you're going back to hearing that she was a prostitute, she did that. Somebody wasn't strong in that family, and when you have 11-2, there's certain numbers in numerology that you always have to protect your children if the parents are not protective of that child. Born under the number 2, number 4, number 6, number 7 and number 8. If you're not very protective of them, then you got to be careful of people like molesters, people that try to rape you, and all that kind of stuff. Because the negative of the numbers, or the lower frequency of the numbers, they attract him. Like, he's born under number 6. Obviously, as a child, he was a very loving child when he was growing up. Very loving. Probably loved to hug and all that. Very loving child. And that's why he loves to see family. It's hard. If you and your wife broke up, it would be hard for him as a number 6. It would be very upsetting, because 6s are natural lovers and they need that family outlet to keep them going, and that's what it's all about from them. So this is why this is such a successful thing for you, because your family is around you, and this is how you have to move with your baby. So it's very, that's why I tell people, if you want to do consultation with me and you want me to read your children, I'm going to be real about you. I'll tell you, if you're born under certain numbers that attract this type of stuff, I tell you, be careful of their teachers, be careful of uncles that come over, aunties that may have came out of jail, or whoever. Be careful, because we are in a sick, traumatized society, and yes, America has traumatized us. Right. This is a traumatizing number here. Now, this is 5 is really the life path for this. I'm telling you, 5 represents in numerology, in numerology, 5 has a freedom and an illicitness about it. Why I say that? In the positive of the 5, since the whole number adds up to a number 5 when you really break this down, the positive of the 5 is multi-talented, communications, travel, movement, travel through air and all kinds of stuff, travel through sea. That is the number 5 trait on the positive. On the negative of the 5 rules illicit sex, drugs, alcohol. America has been the promotion of that for years. Absolutely. Non-stop, and each one of them, even their scholars, some of them have been drunkards and all that kind of stuff. But this, I'm just letting you show that it can go back anciently, or it can go back in time, or it can go back, bring it to now, even with the Cardi B's. So it's very interesting. When I seen her, I said, wow. And then I read her numbers, and I tell you, I just read her birthday as I was coming here, because we mentioned Cardi B in the book, and I said, let me find out this girl's birthday. And boom, October 11th, tells me relationship issues. She's going to have, and if she doesn't learn to, as she gets older, she's going to have to get into more spiritual understanding of certain things. Right now, she's making money. She's young. She's born 1992. I understand. That's what she's doing. That's what it is. Even the year she's born tells me something about her. The 1992, again, because the 9 itself, when anything you add to 9 comes back to itself in numerology. So again, it adds up to a 3. Dealing with scandal, but it deals with male energy, having ups and downs with male energies if she's not careful. On the positive, she needs to deal with a man that can talk and converse with her at all times and be able to be open to her, because she needs to open up. She always needs to release. And one thing about her, when she gets older, she's going to write a book. She's going to have a book deal. She got books all in her. All in. These are writer's numbers. She needs to write that book, and that's very important. So, you know, I'm just letting you know this is what happens with numerology. This is what I do. You know.
So, like when events like 9/11 happened,
yes,
the Vegas shooting, you were able to read the numbers to find out what was really going on?
When Lloyd Strayhorn did that. However, if you study, let's deal with 9/11, which was fun. 9/11, okay? 10, which again, 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Something deceptive happened on the negative. And then something, there was a spiritual thing that took place also, because people started unifying and working together. It was a spiritual resonance also, but it was a spiritual deception on the part of America doing what they did. See, when I start seeing 9 at 9 first, 9 in numerology on a higher level means universal love, peace, understanding, gathering of people coming together. On the negative represents military, war, destruction, bombs, all that stuff. So when 9/11 hit, that 9 led and showed me what it was. It showed Lloyd what it was, but Lloyd was more deeper on that because at that time he was into it, and I was on WWRL radio at that time. But I was still studying, but 9/11, it just shows me the brief, just mathematically tells you what 9/11 is all about. Even using 9/11 in our call, because we have to call for the police and all that kind of 9/11. Still, what's so funny, the word police as a, I can show you better than I can tell you, all right? Police. Now, in numerology, the word police, that's an 8, that's a 7, that's a 3. That's a 1, that's a 3, and that's a 5. Let's say this is 10, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27, 9. 9, I told you, represents military, war, guns, all that. Police. Duh. So let's say, because I'm trying to show you as out there that they study it also. Because you can go, when you check out Red Pill and Blue Pill, where they talk about gematria and all that stuff. Gematria is one of those studies, when you get into words and you get into dates and all that kind of stuff, it brings out even more of the esoteric parts of numerology. Kabbalah by my man A.A. Rashid and all the rest of them. That's why I'm glad Baba Oba, Brother Oba, bigged up A.A. Big up to A.A. all the time. I've got his book, and he breaks down about the Kabbalah and all that. These numbers have energy and frequency, and we have to pay attention to them. So you got people out there that might see angel numbers, right. Double 2s, double 3s, 444, 555. They all mean something because they all telling you something at a particular time of your life. So if you start seeing double 2 is a master number. But the 2 represent intuitive power, also paying attention to your gut feelings a little bit more, and build, because sometimes we as a people we're pondering on things that we want to do, and we don't know if we should do it. If you're born on the 22nd, I tell people born on the master number 22nd, do not second guess yourself, because that's a master number, and most people born in the celebrity world on the master numbers accomplish great things. They may have stresses on their side, but they make sure they accomplish that. Shaggy, born October 22nd. Going back into time, people like Sam Cooke, born January 22nd. See, people like that, they accomplish great things in life, but they show you. Beanie Man, born August 22nd, the reggae artist. These are people that have accomplished great things, and they may have drama, because with the number 22, it comes with a lot of communicational drama, and some people don't understand you. That's why Sam Cooke was caught up in a hotel, and it was under mysterious. This is the number 22 equals a 4 that deals with weird and unusual situations that happen. When Beanie Man did Sim Simma, who got the key? They thought he was acting like a homosexual. When it was a lyric, and it was just a misconstrue of the lyrics that threw everybody else and thought he was defending homosexuality. That's all it was. But 4 again get caught up in unusual situations. Shaggy again with It Wasn't Me. He's gotten caught up with girl situations at one time in his life when he was younger. Because hey, it wasn't in the entertainment business, that's what it is. But that number 4, anybody born under the 4th, anybody born on the 13th or the 22, all deal with communication and the need to be very clear in communication. They need also to dot every I and cross any T whenever they're talking to anybody around them in their circle, because people misconstrue, and it's also the number of secret haters. So people are always out to get you, even though they don't know you. They might not like you because they don't know you. And just that's how it works. That's just the frequency of that particular number. But there's positive of it, but it's all about communicating correctly with people. So, yes, sir. Because I'm a flip page.
Yeah, he keeps actually going into what I was,
I know,
leading into. So,
yes, sir.
Talking about artists and things like that. Some artists, I feel like it's not so obvious that they study numbers to what moves they
like Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is the most clear example. I feel like,
and he born December 4th.
On the 4th,
and his wife born September 4th.
And 444.
He did a 22-day fast with his wife recently.
Okay, so please.
No, that number resonates with him.
Right.
And that was the right number to resonate with him. That's a good number. Remember, 4 deals with communication, mastering communication. But yet people have seen Jay throughout the years as being type of weird, a certain way about himself, carrying him. Remember, he was in a drug life at one time,
right,
especially out of Marcy back in the day in Brooklyn. Now, his alignment number, when I say alignment number, people, alignment number to us, because a lot of numerologists won't discuss this. Now, I'm one discussing it, and then there's another one that was another guy that was Michael Brill from out of NASA. Now, what is a numerologist doing working for NASA? I wish I brought his book. Oh yeah, I study these people. But what is a numerologist doing with NASA? Because America wants to stay in power, so they study all of the powers, all of the energies to be their very best, so they can stay on top of their game. So if numerology was a power at one time, or using those esoteric knowledge was under power, damn right they were going to study. I'd study it. Remember, I have a friend. I don't remember if you remember Kamati Denazulu, the Truma. Kamati Denazulu was a big Akan priest, and he used to tell me, man, he rested like, he used to tell me that the CIA or the FBI used to send people over to study with him. And he would always refuse them because they know those sciences and all that. Stuff like Obar, that's why I'm glad Obar's off the grid. They study them. They want to study and learn because they know the magic is high. Remember that movie, that Haitian movie, what's that circle? I forgot the Haitian movie that when they, I don't know if you remember that old.
Rainbow and the Serpent.
Rainbow of the Serpent of the Rainbow.
Serpent of the
They
Rainbow.
went over to Haiti to study that. And I just seen 1804. Yes, it was some real powerful juju they was using. And numerology is part of this whole juju. Understanding of what happened with Jay-Z now. Jay-Z born December the 4th. December the 4th, that's a 3, that's a 3. And then that's a 4, that's a 7. 7 means he does his research. It's one thing about Jay, he does his research. He studied everybody. All the artists that came before him, he studied everybody. He's a deep thinker. He's a person that keeps to himself, and then he thinks. I watched him on an interview and see that he thinks about what he says.
Definitely.
He's a thinker. So that's his lead number. And usually they have a hard time coming up, but when they do come up, it's over. It's on and popping. And he has proven that. And then being a Sagittarius deal with entertainment, deal with expansion, because Sagittarius is connected to the number 3. In numerology, like Pisces. So that's a powerful number that he's born under. And I love what Jay-Z is doing as far as the 444, because when he put out that 444, and I seen it all over the train station, everybody was all 444, 444, 444. You add up the 4 plus the 4 equals 12, which is a 3. Expansion. But when you have that expansion number that comes up, it means expanding on multiple levels, not just one level. Communications on multiple levels. That's why he has the angel number 3. It's multiple communications that he deals with. But at the end of the day, that number still deals with secret haters, so he also has to watch out for that. So I'm glad he has the 7 alignment number, because 7 is the number of intuition. So he paid attention to his gut feelings and he put it out at the right time, at the right point, and everybody was on the vibe of it. Jay-Z did his thing. And then he has a wife born September the 4th. Another one into communication, the Virgo energy. Now, Virgo and Sagittarius, according to certain astrology, they say that don't get along. In order for them to work, it would have to be a compromise, because she is the foundation of their relationship, in all honesty. That's why she's having the baby. She has to nurture. She's doing what she has to do. And she probably makes a little bit more money than Jay. Tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? But she is the foundation of Jay-Z. The earth sign, the Virgo like yourself. She's that foundation, you too. That's the foundation. That's the earth sign, because he has to stay on earth. Fire burns on earth. They have to. And then they have the air number, which is the 4. 4 is usually in numerology the air number or the earth number, but more so the air number. But it's a weird type of energy. It's a weird air number that needs structure, organization. They need to always prepare what they do. They have to plan. I guarantee you, before she put out an album, they plan what they're going to do. They already look. And let's go to the word title. I'm going to show you something. Why 4 resonate with Jay-Z so well. The word title, and that's his new company, right? Online. Let's break it down. 4, 1, 4, 1, 3. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4. That's Jay-Z's business. He's born on the 4th. Title is under the number 4. Bang! Just letting you know, there's no such thing as coinky dinks. There's no coincidence. That's why I tell people out there, study your numbers. You're not going to be like me. You're not going to be like Lloyd. You might not be, but we do look for, we want you to learn to teach yourself or guide your children or come to a consultation. I don't want you to always come to me. I'm not your leader. I don't want you to worship me. I'm your brother that's just here to give you a guidance so you'll know that you're still on point with what you're doing in your life. Or if you're looking for that guidance to show you what you're doing or what you need to do, I give you the confirmation, because many people come to me and say, Simon, you confirm what I've been thinking all the time. You've been thinking it, but you've been second guessing yourself, talking your way out of it. And you got to pay attention. And the numbers help us to pay attention intricately. Mathematically, it helps us to pay attention. So when I know my birthday, then I know my personal day, I know my personal year that's coming in. It's just like, okay, let's say your birthday, for instance. You're born September 15, right? Yep. If I want to find out your personal year, I'll add the 9 plus the 15 plus the 2017. You add that all together and you get your personal year. Okay, so 9 and 5 is what? He's a superstar.
This is a college kid.
That's I like that. Huh? 14. 14 and 7 is what? But that's 1, that's 3, that's 0, that's 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6. All right? So you're in your 6th personal year. So this is a good year for you for not only acting, not only media, also good for love. Also, somebody said pregnancy. It is a pregnancy year for you, but they kept on saying that. I don't know why people saying that, but also it can be pregnant with new ideas. Mm-hmm. So this was a new idea for him this year, or was it last year? Was this year?
Last year.
Last year? Yeah. Around October.
But it really took fruition this year.
But it was around the end of October going into November, December, let's say it. Because October is the sneak peek of what's to come in the next year. Right. So if it did come about that time, you was in your 6th energy, feeling the energy, but you officially went into your 6th year in 2000 on September 15th. That was your 6th year. And 6 because you're born under this is one of your good years. As long as you maintain balance and harmony. If you get into any confusion, it's always good in a 6th year to maintain a loving attitude towards people so you don't get into the strife and the confusion of other people. Don't let people drain you down. Stay in that loving manner in your 6th year. So next year you'll be in your 7th year. You're going to go on the road with this. This is a 7th year coming up now, coming in. Right. So October is now, we're in October, it's a sneak peek of what's coming next year. So you're on the road with this. You might go and do interviews outside of this next. Right. You're not going to do the studio bit. You're going to have to go travel and get your passport together because it's also a traveling year to get the heck out of here and do some other things. It makes sense? Right, yeah. I just want to make sure I'm making sense. You know what I'm saying? Doc? You know, so you see how it works? Right. It's very simple. It's all about adding. There's some forms of numerology that's subtracting. There's some forms of numerology that deals with multiplication. When you deal with multiplication, that's when you deal with trajectory. That's when I'm projecting and trajecting what's to come and what you need to do in a further place in your life. Right. And that's what I use my consultations to help.
So, do you feel that when people are bringing in, I see you have this book, when people are bringing in, you know, children into the world, you feel like it's important for them to have a snapshot of what's to come, or
for their children?
For their children,
yes. Of course. Because remember, like I said, if I see certain numbers that look like because that child come out so loving, let me tell you, I ran into a sister, I know a sister for years, and her child was born May the 6th. She might be watching this, I never know, but I won't say her name. And one time, under a teacher's supervision, this child got molested by her teacher, put in the closet, and the woman licks her vagina. The cameras was not outside, so she took her, but they seen it. They seen her carry this child in the closet, and this is in Georgia. The family waited for her and beat that teacher down, of course. But she's born May 6th. I'm telling you, those loving numbers, the 2, the 6, the 8, sometimes the 4, 5, and 7. All of them can be attacked, but some of the numbers are a little bit stronger, especially 2 and 6 are a little bit stronger. 7s are the ones that keep quiet and sometimes keep to themselves. They need people that they can trust. So if I know a child that's born under a 4 or 7, I always tell the parent, make sure they trust you enough to tell you all the things that's happening. All. 6 children, don't just run, and you got to make sure you always monitor them, protect them, and make sure they're not just running in somebody's lap and hand and all that, because you can be bouncing on top of an uncle and he getting hard all of a sudden. You can do all that kind of stuff. You got to be careful. And you know, if he come out of jail, you don't know. You don't know what attitude, what they've developed, because that's why my book is called Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. It's easy. 1 + 1 is 2. It's easy. But two ones, if they're arrogant, they're going to fight each other, argue each other. And sometimes the complications come from the past traumas. That's why, and this book is going to get thicker because there's so much I'm getting in through my consultations. And I'm not going to say their names, but it's just that's why people write theses. That's why you have psychologists that write theses on what they go through just by sitting and listening to people and reading people. So that's why it's important that people learn their numbers, get my reading, get people that do spiritual reading like Brother Oba, that get people like Sister Ella, get Lloyd Strayhorn, Natosha, all these great people that does consultation, held consultation from Phil Valentine, Africa. Because if I don't know something, brother, I tell them who to go to. If I don't know nothing about hip hop, I call Black Dot. Dot, you go get a consultation with Dot. If you want something about reggae, I was running the reggae world back in the day. Call me, I can tell you, and if I don't know it, I'll go to the old times, old schoolers, the ones who used to run CPAC and do all the big reggae shows at Madison Square Garden. That's who, you got to share the wealth and circulate it to our people. We got to circulate. I'm not afraid to give a business to Oba. He's not threatening me. I'm not afraid to give business to you or your father. Y'all not threatening me. There's enough to go around. And that's what numerology shows me. I'm thinking on wealth, man. I'm thinking on growing and I try to teach my children. I respect what your father is doing with you because I wish I could have done it with my child, because in my day, that's why this book was written. In my day, I was that Negro in my promotional day. I had and it says it in my, I had the swing parties, I had the strip shows, I had all of that. But I left my family to chase an illusion called entertainment. He's written 2 books and still with his family. And I told my ex-wife, and I tell people, I was in my day and I wasn't studying this esoteric and this numerology stuff, and I had to apologize to all the women I've hurt.
Sure.
One instant I was performing, I was a reggae artist, I was number 5 on the reggae charts back in the 90s. Yeah, you know, I know, a lot of people don't know that. You know, but I was performing at BMCC, and I never forget. Back in my high school days, we ran a train on a system. And I'm going to tell the truth because it's coming out on my autobiography. And I got to be honest with people. You know, and I've said it on air. Ran a train on this sister. Up forward now after, because she loved this. Let's say she liked this one guy and he had us hidden all in the room, and then we all jumped out. And she was set up. That was it. Right in Flatbush. And I can name the place and the address. That's how deep I pass it every day when I'm out there. And I know you used to use a 41 bus. Yes. It's not too far from there. I run into her at the college. I said, what is the coincidence of me running into somebody I hurt back in the day? I'm an entertainer. If she had recognized me, she could have said, that guy did this to me. Instead, I got off the stage after I finished my performance because El General was big, the Pum Pum 99, the Puerto Rican, the Panamanian DJ, reggae artist was big, and I was opening for him. I got off, stopped all my show, finished off, I was supposed to do 3 songs, I did 2, I seen her, ran off the stage, pulled her to the back to apologize, and we started crying together. Because you don't know how much trauma, like I said, numbers are simple, people are complicated. It's how much trauma these people go to that even an apology would make that sister feel good about herself and want to heal. It's a healing process. So when I do my numerology consultation, I try to tell people if I see certain numbers, I'm not going to pry and say, because more women will tell me they got molested, or I can pull it out of them quickly when I say, I see this in your child. But men, because men, they don't even want to get they don't want to go to doctors, they don't want to get a prostate exam, they don't want to do none of that stuff. You see? But you got to help people that you've hurt heal. Another instance, another sister. She has MS now, in a wheelchair. I did the same thing. This time it was only me and another guy. Last time, the first one with the BMCC sister, it was 16 of us. The last time, and I apologize, back to that girl, I apologize for all of them because I know she'll probably never see them again. And I said I was in my ignorant stage at those days, and I'm so sorry. Our tears started running down the eyes, and then I met another one. And I told her the same thing. I rolled her out of her hair salon because she wasn't up yet. And I told her, I said, sister, I said, look at me. You remember who I am? And I started smiling. They always remember me. I was smiling. She said, Simon. I said, what's up, girl? She still gave me a hug because she cared about me. She didn't care about the other guy that came in. I rolled her out. Didn't know she had MS. Didn't know she couldn't walk anymore, brother. And I said, you know, I'm so sorry for what I did to you. You know, got knowledge of self now. You know, you want to make sure you rectify things. And one of the movies that got me doing that was Flatliners. That movie is an old movie back in the day, but they're doing a remix of it where you got to be careful what you do to people because you might have to answer that later on. You know what I'm saying? That weighing of the heart.
That's the weighing of the heart.
The weighing of the heart. So it might come back to you. So most of the girlfriends and people that I've mistreated, my ex-wives, I apologize to all of them for what I've done. Because I know I was in my ignorant stage and I was chasing entertainment. And entertainment, brothers and sisters, is an illusion. It's no much more important than your family and your prodigy that you have to leave that legacy for. I'm going through issues with my daughter right now because she don't want to talk to me because of I was chasing entertainment. 19, biochemist. And she don't, I'm proud of her, but she don't want to talk to me right now. And her mother said, she's avoiding you right now. And I had to write a serious letter to her. Everybody else is talking to me, but that particular one, and she's born November the 29th, a master number, so that deals with relationship and feeling. And when women hold on to those, when women have certain emotional numbers, they hold on to things even deeper than men. The feminine energy is a total different energy than men, although it's a balanced energy with you, and we all have it, all both male and female. When women hold on to things, and your daughter holds on to something,
you can forget
about it. It's hard. It's hard. So I'm praying and meditating on her all the time. But I know her numbers, and I knew it was gonna. I know all my children's numbers, and I know who's gonna come to me with whatever. That's why I made it my business to make my apologies to all of them and say what I. And when I did sit down my daughter to her and said, "Do you want to hear the story?" A few years back, she said, "No." Okay, but now I realize she does want to. She want to rectify something. Regardless if she lives with a stepdad and a mom and all that, she really wants to rectify something. And I do want to do it before I drop dead or transition. I want to do it.
Right.
And keep that. And that's what's so important about numbers for me, brother. And that's I know we probably went off the beaten path. But this is just a personal story, bro.
So you're talking about like relationships and family and things like that. How do you find it a little more simple to deal with people in your family because you know what the numbers, like if in a relationship or a marriage or something, would you like, is that like a cheat code or something?
It is a code, yes. Okay. I'm able to deal with certain people in my family. I know who to stay away from, although I love them. I don't know who's my challenges.
Right.
I know who wants to, when I meet them, they want to talk a lot. I know who, you know, for instance, I had, and I've said this on air before, I got fondled by my 2 girl cousins when I was younger, 8 years old. 8 is one of my challenge numbers as a number 1. One of my challenges. They fondled me, and I loved them to death. They were still my favorite cousins. But they didn't fondle me like sexually. We didn't have sex. It was just they stripped me naked and spin me around and threw me around because I ate their food in the refrigerator at a young age. Like as if a young man is not going to be hungry. You know, but they was young teenagers themselves. But come to find out, they got molested themselves. So if we don't break the cycle, knowing their numbers, I knew their numbers, but I know how to deal with them, and we knew how to apologize to each other, and we all cried it out at the end of the day. They realized that, you know, it was painful, but it took me to address it just 3 years ago. I'm 50. I just addressed it 3 years ago. I'm 50. So that kind of activity that transpired between my 2 beautiful cousins has probably been one of the nails that hindered me from being better to my women that I was with. And then seeing what happened with my father and my mother. Knowing that my father was younger than my mother. One is a Taurus, one is a Libra. He was into the club life. He ran clubs. So obviously it's like, back in those days, and he's a former Marine, and he has sex and women and all kinds of craziness coming at him. My mother was a hard worker up to this day. A Taurus energy. And she never remarried again after him. But they still friends now. Now they've gotten to become more friends. But they understand, now as they got older, they understand. But when a Taurus woman like that holds on to something, it traumatized the child coming out the womb because it was going on through the womb. So, and then my father told me his father did the same thing. So these cycles keep on going if we don't break the cycle. Forgiveness is the highest form of healing. And I told this story on Brother Richard's show before, and I tried to kill my father. I had a German Luger 15 shooter. 15 shooter. Back when I was 15 years of age. And I went, they told me where he lives, and I walked, I was on Flat, you've been on Flatbush, you know Flatbush. You know those big terrace buildings going towards Flatbush and Lincoln? That tall building going around to Empire? He lived in that building. I lived down near Avenue D. I walked up to Avenue D and turned this way towards Reese Park. So I walked myself until I was tired because I thought I was going the right way. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote him a letter in red ink. And you know, anytime you write in red ink, that represents blood. You know, that means I'm giving my blood. And I told him if it wasn't for 5%, Nation of Islam, Ansar Allah, and those men that kept that manhood in me, I would have fell grace to the street. It's not that I didn't smoke weed and all that, but I had to let him know that. And then we started talking and conversing, and then we had a family meeting, and everybody, we cried it out, because they said, my own mother and father said, we coming from Jamaica, we didn't know nothing about sex and all of that stuff. We just knew what we knew. And so that was, and then he's a former Marine, you're taught a little crazy up in there. You know, I got a son now that's a Marine, he's a little crazy, but it is what it is. But the numerology let me understand my mother and father more, and helped me to forgive my father, because I knew what he was going through. Helped me to forgive and understand my grandmother, and understand my grandfather, and all the people around me more than ever, even though that they're on my ancestral altar. I know who they are, right, metaphysically, you know, and I can call on them for certain things because I know they had certain powers to help me. And my grandmother, up to this day, born on June 26, 1917, she would be 100 years this year. She always come to my dreams every other month and rest my head on her knee and say, you're going to be all right. She always do this. Or she's standing up and she wasn't able to stand. Or she's standing up and talking to me about certain things. Or showing me where money is. All kind of stuff. I love when she show me where the money is. But that's how it is, brother. It does help me. That's just getting back to the point. It does help me be able to know who to hang out with, who to talk to, who I can just talk to for a brief moment, who I can just give good hug or give them some good information. It's so important that I learned this. It's just one of the modalities. It's not the is all or be all. It's just helping you to understand life mathematically. And like Les Brown and Farrah Gray, Dr. Khalid's son, says, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. And numerology helps us to find out why we were born, at least a part of the puzzle.
So getting a consultation from you, is that like a one-time thing, or is it a continuous, you have to keep learning?
It can be continuous, but I do suggest that you learn for yourself, so you can, just in case I drop dead or Lloyd's not here or the you might not find, look, they might blow up the world. That Jing Young, whatever his name with heels, it might blow up the world one day. We don't know. We know that and I'm a disaster preparedness, mind you, so I teach that too. I teach disaster preparedness. Oh, we can go there. But what I do suggest people to buy the books and learn, or Google it up, because right now Google is the thing. Right. But you won't know it all, because Lloyd taught us years ago that to take numerology and use it for yourself. Just like when your father had the lectures at LIU, and him and A.A. Rashid and Chris and all of them was doing their thing. Those people that said, yo, Phil never wanted no following. He just wanted people to take the information and use it for themselves and apply it for yourself. Numerology can be applied in any facet of life while you're here in America or anywhere else. I got people calling me from Africa and all over the place. I don't know if they care about numbers, but I know a lot of us always say numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie. I hear this man here say about the earth and the world being mathematics and the universe being this, but yet when it comes down to human life, it doesn't exist. Don't make no sense. We are the minute thing in this universe. Stop playing. I don't care what these scientists say, but they don't. I never heard him dog out numerology. He might dog out astrology, but they don't dog out one of their best, like people like Pythagoras. They might disagree with certain things, but he had other philosophies he was teaching. But numerology is mathematics, and like in Nation of Islam, mathematics is Islam, and Islam is mathematics. Always stand true. That's how it is. And this is what it is. And we got to understand. Look what he says on the shirt. This is one of his sayings. What it say?
What if I told you it's okay to change your opinion based on the newest evidence? It's real life.
That's all. Yeah. And what I do is, when I tell people when they get into numerology, study your immediate surroundings, your family, read your dog, read your cat, when they were born. All of that. They got numerology for dogs and cats. Naming people. And it's not just your birthday, it's your name. If you have a certain amount of numbers in your name, that just adds more to it, or adds more energy to it. Just like in the book you have here, if you have, let's say you have a number 1, you have a lot of 1s in your name. let's say you have a lot of A's and you have a lot of J's and a lot of S's in your name. That means you have more of a chance getting circulation problem, heart problems, and eye problems. If you have a lot of 2s, there's stomach issues you got to deal with. You got to be careful and drink a lot of water because there's a water number. That's a fire number, water number, fire number, air number, earth number, water number, earth number, fire number, and the ethers. All right. So anytime you add the 2 to a 0, 0 gives it more powerful, more potential. So you're born on the 20th. I would say you got to pay attention to your stomach and really be careful where you eat at and whom you eat from. People born on the 30th, like young Pharaoh, born on the 30th. Full of energy, full of talk, know how to keeps on talking. That means he exacerbates more of the 3 energy of communication. So it's natural to Hootie born on the 30th. So people don't understand this is what I'm dealing with here. Polite born on the 10th. He keeps on talking and doing what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? But you got to pay attention to your numbers. And he studies numerology like most of them are studying numerology. They have to understand this. This is your book, my brother. But they have to understand it. And I tell people it's very important that they understand it, learn to use it for themselves. And and what was the question you asked? Again, I don't know. I went off on learning it for themselves. And that's true. They should learn it for themselves for the name. In the book, I do describe that you should how to read names and all that kind of stuff. And then go to the information in the book about health. If you're going to read this book, it gives you basics, and then I give you a bibliography in the back on who you should go to study. I'm not gonna. You don't keep knowledge in a bushel basket, family. You share knowledge, because we're not gonna be here forever. If you didn't share it with your son, how would he know to do what he had to do? He's part of your blood. He's part of your DNA. If I didn't share it with my children, he's part of my DNA. My sons, them are into investment and doing all kinds of stuff and singing. Some do this, some do that. But that's very important that we keep on sharing. And like I said, I was able to read my own children and able to break them down and know what they need to do, even if they don't believe it. It's all right. You're going to find yourself coming back to it. Eventually, you come to me and say, Daddy, you was right.
Absolutely. My little sister is going through that right now.
It's always going to happen. Yeah. And sometimes it's just innate. It's natural.
Right.
Numerology just reminds you of what you need to do and keeps you on that point. He born on the 27th. He says what he means and means what he says. That's what a number 9 does. Dr. Africa born on the 27th. Say what they mean what they say, but the 2 and 7 are very intuitive numbers. So they always have to pay attention to their gut feelings and their intuition. And companionship is important, but it has to be a spiritual balance with the companion. That's why the 7 is there. You wouldn't be with your wife if it wasn't also spiritual. It's not religious, it's spiritual. That's what makes the connection. Right. When is your wife's birthday?
She's November 25th.
And the 2 and 5 is a 7, and 7 is one of the get along numbers with the number 9, which it gets along. It's one of the good numbers with the 9, so that's a working sign. Then you got 2 earth signs. 2 earth they're workable. So that's what's so good. I know sometimes he can be fiery, and y'all can get into some serious.
I think she's Sag.
See, December?
No,
25th?
I said November.
Oh, it's November 25th.
November.
Oh, I thought she was December. Okay, so she's a fire sign. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you mentioned the Sag and the Virgo have to have a
compromise. Yes, you have to have a compromise.
Our relationship is based on compromise.
It's compromise. But what's so funny is that your 2 and 7 is a 9. 9 is a fire number, and she's a fire sign. And then she's the 25th. Is a water number. 2 and 5 is 7 is a water number. It works with the earth sign of you. I see the crisscross and how it can work. Yeah, it can be a little ups and downs and crazy because sometimes those signs don't work, but it works when it has to work if they compromise and understand each other and understand how to work each other's energy. Naturally, or they can study numerology. When I do couples reading, I break it down. And I tell them, yo, if y'all don't do this, I see a separation. If you don't get counseling, I see, and not just for me, go get a real professional counselor that will sit their ass down and listen to you say this and you say that about her, and when you go, what's this all about? And that's why I always recommend other people. If I see certain strange things in your numbers, I always recommend.
You don't get that a lot. A lot of people they think they know everything about everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that ruins a lot of relationships as well. So you said you do prevention, crisis prevention as well.
Disaster preparedness.
Disaster preparedness.
Disaster preparedness.
Explain that.
Woo.
jack of all trades.
Hey, look, my teacher is Aton Edwards. I don't know if you have any of his books. He wrote the book called Preparedness Now, and it's a brother. And he's been teaching it in the Bronx he was in the Bronx teaching it for 30 years right here in New York City. And he's taught it for us as our people for free, or when you want to do the field work, $30 per person. Real minimal prices to what they're really charging out there. But he always wanted to give it to us. Now, disaster awareness and preparedness is, we teach a system called IADO, which is improvising and adapting to all given situations. Like if I carry my bag, I always have a smoke hood. I'm in the train, so if a train gets taken over with smoke inhalation and smoke takes over, I can take out a smoke hood. I always, in the crowd, I always say, do you have one? And everybody, I'm the only one to have one. I guess I'm the only one that's gonna live, huh? I'm just saying, I carry water with me. I carry medical, I carry hygiene. Matter of fact, let me show y'all something right now. Something that I have with me right now. So I can show you better than I can tell you. This here. Now, what it looks like to y'all? Look like pills or candy, right? But now, don't do this at home, children. No, I'm joking.
For wounds.
No, these are for hygienics.
Oh, I thought
it becomes a wipe.
Oh, wow.
A wet wipe. And all you have to do is put some water on it.
Wow.
Oh, man. Damn. Hot. All the life in here. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow.
See, this is real deal disaster preparedness. So I'll never be nasty in a disaster preparedness, or I can either use it as a breathing apparatus if I have to breathe about a certain amount of air. Get low and move and breathe. Just in case. That's improvising and adapting. That's why we practice improvising and adapting. Our website is readyforanything.org. readyforanything.org. Aton Edwards' book is called Preparedness Now. He has a new one coming out called Ready Up. He's talking about the whole world readying up, because we teach on disaster preparedness, technological preparedness, civil war, all that we teach on. And we used to have walks outside of the city. We used to walk you from Brooklyn all the way to the Bronx, because Bronx is the mainland. Every other place are islands. New York is an island, Brooklyn is an island, Manhattan is an island, Queens is an island, Long Island, Rikers Island, all of them are islands. Bronx is connected to the rest of the world. That's why we used to do the walks up there. so yes, I teach that disaster. I've been teaching that for many years, and they're 20 years now on the Aton Edwards. But Aton been doing it for 30 to 40 years, and that brother's coming in the city. I'm going to be doing something major, so listen out on WBLS. We'll be making those announcements, and WBAI, and also with Gary Bird and the rest of them are going to be making those major announcements. So show people.
That's a necessary.
Yes, in New York City and all over the world.
Especially the uncertain times we live in now. You know what I mean? Like
with number 45 in office.
So when he got elected, how did you look at that?
I didn't, because I've been doing it for too long.
Okay.
I teach preparedness, not paranoia. Because this is a self-reliant program. Everyone in the family is supposed to have their kits. This is called an E-kit. What I carry with me is E-kit. And I could show you some stuff, but I'd have to pull everything apart. But my E-kit has necessary stuff that I can handle a disaster in New York City for at least 72 hours to a week in this bag alone. Wow. And I carry this all the time with my flyer distribution. Even if you took my bag, you wouldn't understand what's in it, because I prepared it for me and made it for me. Aton's kit is infused in his clothing. You would never know he had it. He walks right in like MacGyver. That's just how he is. MacGyver learned from him. That's because he's been doing it for too long. And we try to teach y'all how to do it for yourself, for sick people, for elderly people. Even if for elderly people, you got to have a certain amount of medicine for them, the insulin, you have to have the medication, you have to have all the stockpile. You have to have a gallon of water per person per day when disasters hit. You got to know, improvising, know what to do with your boiler, how to filter your boiler, how to filter out the toilet, how to fill your bathtub up, how to use hefty bags as a tent if you had to. Various things you have to learn to do, and how to light fire, how to get flint, how to do all of that. That's what we show people on the field. We used to do this in Van Cortlandt Park every day until the police shut us down. So we got to do it, find private areas and then tell them that we're going to do it. Because when disaster hits, my brother, they shut down all parks. Why? Because they become military bases. They don't want you hiding in their parks. It's just like Rambo when he tried to hide in that park. They were like, oh, wait a minute, we got to go get this guy. Oh, really? You going to try to get a trained man in a park?
You better think again.
And it has happened before in New York where people, that's why Giuliani sealed all of the manhole tunnels at one time. Because people was able to escape and get in and out. Wow. So these things happen. But that's why New York has a Ready Up program also. You can go to FEMA. FEMA might not give you everything, but they got good information. So you can go to FEMA.org and get the booklets for free. Right. You can go to Red Cross. I do suggest everybody get a Red Cross certification or ID and all that, because even during the 9/11, many of my friends and comrades in the disaster preparedness community was able to use Red Cross to get on trains for free, to move through certain places. Watch movies like I Am Legend. If you don't have proper credentials, you ain't getting nowhere. Remember, right. I am Colonel so-and-so and so-and-so. Check her again. Check his wife again. Stop playing. Yeah. That's why Phil and KT said watch movies and study them. And white folks study movies because they teach that's their way of communicating and teaching. That's why Bobby Hemmett says study the superhero movies. They're talking about you, the black folks. They're talking about us. And this Black Panther movie, I have to talk about it. Why? He's a friend of mine. He trained martial arts with us when he comes in town. He's a black belt. But Chad is born under the master number 11, the same day as my daughter, November 29th, the same day. The movie is coming out February 16, 2018, right? Let me read the numbers and show you how powerful this is. Why this is his movie. This is his movie all the way. He born under the 29th was 11, 2/16, 2018. That's 16, the 1, that's 3, that's 0, that's 2, 9, 10, 11. And we're going into a number 11 year. 8 plus 1 plus 2 is 11. And he's born on the 29th of November, 11. It's all his movie. And the spirituality that's going to be revealed in that movie. But there's going to be some deception in there because, you know, the white folks with their information is like ham on rye. The ham is terrible for you, but the rye bread is good. So you got to pay attention to the rye bread. And then be careful of the ham that they're throwing at you. So all this is 11, master number 11. The whole thing is going to be, that's why I tell people, take your family, take your baby, pregnant women, go and check this out. Because they're going to reveal some of your ancient science that you have not seen. And this is the era of the comic book era. Comic book, my father wished they was like this back in the day when he used to watch it on television. Remember, they used to have those cartoons on TV and all that. And Batman wasn't the same like Batman is now. With Adam West, this Batman nowadays, they got the effects now. And just like, remember what, you ever seen the Iron Man movies?
Yes.
Remember what Tony Stark's father said on the film? That he don't have the technology to do what he was going to be able to do? Is exactly what they're telling us. They're telling us in the movies. But we're not listening, we're not paying attention. And this is master number 11 all day, all year. Somebody in our community even wants to rent out a movie theater and just invite us to all dress in our African regalia and go out and check this thing out. So I'm going to try to see if we can push that. I will help promote that. We fill up a movie and we look good. We dress up in our African, because that's how they're going to look. I text Chad and say, yo, them outfits in that trailer, son. I need one, sir. I told him. He's a well-dressed brother. Very good, very down-to-earth, very humble brother. And he watches all of us on YouTube. He pays attention. He's watching y'all. He's watching the Sonettas. He's watching the Brother Rich. He checks out Polite. He checks out. We talk about this. He's one of us as far as knowledge is concerned, but he still has to be careful of the pitfalls because he's born on the 29th, and 11s have to also, if they're not deceiving people, they're trying to deceive them. So that's why I tell people born on the number 11, born on the 29th, of these master numbers, they gotta always be on the up and be honest and have integrity. Don't be a deceiver.
Especially in that world.
Especially in that world. That's why he's doing, everybody, and people are hating on him. He's in his number 4 year now personally, going into a 5 year. But I told him this. I gave him a reading 2-3 years ago. I told him, yo, this is what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And all of this stuff. And they said, Simon, you don't know what, brother, you are saying that they are already on me. They are on my brother. But as long as he maintains his integrity and his respect for his end and don't put on no dress and all that kind of stuff, hey, the brother's done. He played Tahuti in The Gods of Egypt. He played 42. He played James Brown. He played everything.
He's
Thurgood Marshall. Yes, he played Thurgood Marshall. Brother is a master at what he does. And him and Don Cheadle born the same day. Another good actor. Him and Jimi Hendrix was born the same day.
Wow.
Another one. So we gotta stay on top of the numerology helps me to understand these people more. I'm just saying. But that disaster preparedness family, back to disaster preparedness. readyforanything.org if you want to find out information, or kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's right. Watch it. Check it out in the
description.
In the description bar. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Anything else, my brother?
Where can they reach you?
I love it. Check this out. If you want any consultation from me, it's $2 a minute, a minimum of 35 minutes. So that's $70. If you want to record it, it's an extra $20. All you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth at 347-496-1022. Please don't ask for just a minute reading. I can do one letter in 5 minutes. 5 minutes to take. I can do one letter because sometimes one letter have two different energies attached to it. And I can do the positive and the negative, so I can go in. So do the 35 minutes you have to. And if I feel that you have certain spiritual other dilemmas you have, or certain other things that you need, health-wise and otherwise, I guide you to the Dr. Africans. I guide you to the Obars. I'll guide you to the Queen Ella. I'll guide you to the Abundance. I'll guide you to whoever I got to guide you to. Queen of Four. I'll take you to whoever. Supernova. I'll give you the ever, because it's all about circulating in our community. If we don't have Black Wall Street, physically, we can at least do it in the ethers of this world of what we're doing, and this great health and spiritual world that we're doing. We got to share and work with each other.
Definitely.
And that, again, go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Okay?
With that said, it's Urban X TV.
Peace! My brother. Great job.